When you wake up in the morning and open your wardrobe, and even before your day has started, you have already made about 10 decisions. Not about your work, not about your priorities, but about what you're wearing. And most of it is happening in a quiet internal dialogue that you're not even aware of. And you don't even know that it is potentially draining you. Welcome back to the Second Voice podcast, where we uncover the conversations that leaders don't say out loud. I'm your host, Louisa Hogan, and today we're talking about something that looks simple on the surface, but is quietly shaping your focus, your energy, and how you show up every single day. Today, I am joined by the very lovely Lacey Cadieux-McLean, founder and CEO of Rhubaia Ventures, a Calgary-based fashion tech company that's redefining how women dress, organize, and experience their wardrobes. Lacey combines eco-conscious, non-toxic professional apparel with an AI-powered virtual closet app designed to reduce textile waste, simplify wardrobe management, and foster confidence in daily dressing. Raised on a ranch in Alberta, Lacey brings a deep connection to nature, a career in IT project management, and a passion for sustainable innovation. Frustrated by the lack of healthy, functional, and stylish professional clothing, me too. So I can't wait to speak to you, Lacey. She created Rubaya to bridge the gap between safer textiles, intelligent technology, and thoughtful design. Lacey, I have been looking forward to this conversation for such a long time. I'm so excited to hear your journey, but also more about your business. Welcome to the Second Voice podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to chatting and sharing with your listeners.
Fantastic. Well, welcome. Well, tell us more about you. I've read your bio. I've looked into your work, and I've been researching you. But for those listening that don't know you, tell us a little bit more about you. Where are you from? What's your journey? What brought you to where you are today?
Well, I grew up in a very small town in northern Alberta. So one of the most northern cities in Canada is Edmonton, in Alberta, and then of course there's a little further up there. There's Northwest Territories and Yukon, which is Yellowknife, Whitehorse, but Edmonton's the most sizable city, kind of in that area of northern Canada. And I grew up about 2 hours north of Edmonton, and very much in a rural bush area, lots of trees. It's beautiful, amazing. 150 lakes. It's absolutely stunningly gorgeous. Northern lights in the winter. Just a beautiful place to grow up. Wonderful town and people. But I grew up very rural, very small town, and I really didn't leave my small town much until I was a little bit older. Um, I remember the first time I went on an airplane was when I was 16, and I went to Jamaica, and that was a very big deal at the time. And then it took me a while before I even visited this our provinces on either side of Alberta, British Columbia, and Saskatchewan. It was just you kind of grow up and a bit secluded, and going to Edmonton was a big deal back in the day, and that was a great way to grow up. But at the same time too, we kind of I could never imagine traveling as much as I have now, and having the career that I've had, and then even going on to start a company and becoming a CEO of a company. This was all, if I would have told my younger self, she would have been like, no, there's no way. Like, it's funny how life plays out sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's really important message for younger people that are starting out in the world is the sky really is the limit, because I didn't think I was going to do all these things back when I was like even 16, 17, 18 years old. I wouldn't have believed it. Now,
Yeah.
one thing about me as a kid and as a teenager is I've always had a little bit of, I don't know, it's undiagnosed, I'll call it attention deficit, like very all over the place. But I would always had a hard time concentrating in school. And so I loved drawing and designing, and I would create clothing collections, and I would my pictures at school would have flowers and drawings and characters. The teachers were always like, "This is great, Lacey, like beautiful, beautiful drawings. But what about like the actual assignment?"
Yeah,
And
no.
I was just like, "Oh, but I drew you pictures, and here you go." And I recently, not too long ago, went home and I was going through the storage room in my parents' house. My parents still live in one of the houses I grew up in, and I found some old file folders of clothing designs that I designed back in, like, I don't even know how old, maybe 15 or something, and they have them all tucked away in the corner there. And I went through them with my two oldest kids. My daughter's turning 18 here in July, and my son's 15, and then the youngest is 10. And I was kind of showing them this, and they're like, "Oh, mom, these are actually, you did some drawings back then." So I definitely had a journey that I went on that was very surprising. And as much as I showed, I guess, the promise of getting into clothing design and being a creative, it took a while before it all came together. I
Mhm.
ended up going to university. I had to leave my small town to do that, and then eventually made my way to Calgary. And then I've been in Calgary longer than I was ever up north in Lac-La-Biche. But it's been fabulous. And
Yeah.
um, I did end up writing. I spent the better part of my 20s and writing books while I was building my career as an IT project manager.
Mhm.
Started working in IT project management really quick out of university. I think I was working in it by the end of 2005, maybe definitely into 2006. And then it's been just steady since. Took a
Yeah.
little bit of time off to raise my daughter and have my son, and then I was right back to work and been steady ever since.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be the rest of my career. I wrote some books, I did some things, but I thought IT project management
Was it?
was going to be that was going to be what I was going to do till I retired. And that's been awesome. It's been incredible because without my career and I still do freelance work in project management, um, but without that, I don't think I think it would have been a lot more difficult to go down the journey of starting Rubaya. Um, and then I entered my 40s feeling old, of course. I was like in
It
my
was my
40s.
45th birthday this weekend, so I know.
So it's just like, oh, at 30 was a big deal too,
Yeah.
but at 40 was like, I mean, I've got teenagers, like my daughter's going off to college in September, and it was just like, I definitely remember kind of getting the idea for this clothing brand, and then the app,
Mhm.
and thinking about it and just being like, when am I going to have time? My husband and I operate a short-term rental property management company as well.
Mhm.
And I was just like, I have no business, like zero business, coming up with any sort of new business ideas. I'm strapped for time as it is. When on earth am I going to find these? When am I going to do this? But lo and behold, there was a bunch of things that came together, and my kids actually have a part to play in this story. They were inspirational for me. I got on a whim. I decided I was going to take a fashion design certification online. It was mainly motivated by my past creativity, wanting to feed that creative
Mhm.
part of myself that I haven't been feeding. But also, my daughter is graduating, and I wanted to help her design a graduation dress. And so I thought, oh, I'll take a course, and then we can work on her dress. And over the years, I had actually in the back of my mind been growing frustrated with virtual wardrobe apps. I've tried out a few. I felt like they didn't really do what I was looking for.
Mhm.
And I actually even took it as far as I wrote one app and I gave them a bunch of feedback on how they could improve. And I kind of left it at that and was just like, oh, I basically had an approach where everyone else, I was waiting for someone else to come up with the virtual wardrobe app that I was looking for.
Mhm.
And for years I waited and I would see like portions of it come out, but it just felt like nobody was quite getting it the way that I was envisioning. And then my husband is a career firefighter, and he is exposed to a lot of toxins day in and day out in his career. Their gear gets coated in
Mhm.
smokes and chemicals and fire retardants and waterproofing coatings. And it's a well-known fact that first responders, especially firefighters, are exposed and have a higher likelihood of workplace caused cancers.
Mhm.
And so he started on this journey to wanting, when he's not at work, to making healthier clothing choices for himself, wearing organic cottons and things like that. Because he said, Lacey, like for me, like the chances of me developing something are much higher already. So when I'm home and I'm making choices, I want to try to make little cleaner choices because give myself a fighting chance here.
Yeah.
To let's try to live a healthy life where we can,
Mhm.
because of my career. And so I kind of like never had really thought about sustainability. I had thought about clothing design clearly since I was a teenager. I have worked in technology for years, and I was wanting to design this dress with my daughter, but I hadn't really tied it all together and just said like, why don't I create this platform? And it was really interesting because I remember very clearly I had I don't know what it was, but it was a moment. It was a moment of clarity, and I don't know why I had it that day. I don't know what I was even particularly thinking about that I had this. But I just remember thinking, I'm going to die someday. And I know this seems so dramatic every time I tell
No.
this story,
Mhm.
but it's the truth. We're all
Mhm.
going to.
Yep.
And I'm like, I have these ideas and I have these inspirations and I have these challenges, such as finding the app I'm looking for. I went to go look for business professional sustainable women's clothing and I couldn't find anything I liked. And I was just like, again, I was doing that thing. Well, I'm waiting for someone else to go and create the clothing line. I'm waiting for someone else to go and create the app that I'm looking for. And I got a little tired of
Mm.
myself waiting for other people because I have all these skills. I execute projects as part of the living. People hire me to go do this for them. Why on earth don't I just
Make it myself.
bite, as they say, bite the bullet or whatever the saying is, like, and
Yep.
just do it. Like, and then I had so much imposter syndrome. It was ridiculous. I remember I was sitting there like process, like having this idea of like, oh, maybe I should do this. And being like, you're busy, you have kids, you have a freelancing career, you have another company, you have a husband, you have all these things, and I'm like almost trying to talk myself out of it. And then it was just like, someday you're going to die, Lacey. And when you get there, I know what it was. Actually, thinking back on it, I came across an article online of what we regret at the end of our life,
Mm.
and how the common things that people say in hospice and things like that they regret. And a lot of them regret not taking chances because they were
Yep.
too scared, right? And so I was just like,
Mm.
and when I get to the end of my life, am I going to regret not trying at least? Maybe failing, maybe winning, maybe have, like, who knows, right?
Mhm.
But at least trying and giving myself a fighting chance. Or am I going to be like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have been afraid. I wish I would have just allowed myself at least to attempt to succeed in that.
Yep.
And so I was just like, no, like I've always been a little bit like, the sky's the limit. I want to be an example for the kids, for the teenagers. I want them to believe they can, whatever they put their mind to, and with some focused effort and grit, that they can achieve things. And I realized that I have to be the example for them at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And I can't tell them they can go and do all these things, but in turn, not be the example for them.
Yep.
And so so that's where I kind of went with it. And I
Yeah.
was just like, you know what? I'm going to create the sustainable fashion brand. um, I'm going to use this experience and design an virtual wardrobe app that integrates with that fashion brand, and we're going to pioneer and change the way that we uh, interact with our clothing. And we really are forging a new era in fashion over at Rubaya, not just in technology, but also in sustainability and making choices that help the earth and reduce textile waste and all of that. So we have pretty grand ambitions. And what's truly phenomenal now is it ended up I wasn't another thing that I ended up finding out was I'm not alone in the journey. I ended up building a team of people that are involved on this, that are helping, that I couldn't definitely could not do it without them. And they're just as passionate as I am, and share the vision and share um, in what we're trying to achieve. And they've done a phenomenal job. And when we did get to the table and started looking at the whole system and platform of the way that we interact with our clothes, we just said, we had a few moments of, oh, I don't think anybody's ever done that before. And I remember I looked at the team and I said, well, guess what? We're going to go do it. We're
Yeah.
going to figure out a
Amazing.
way,
Yeah.
right? Let's go sort it out. If nobody's ever done it again, I hear an opportunity.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we did. And so one of the most incredible things that the team came up with was we came up with kind of three main components to the Rubaya brand. We came up with the women's professional sustainable clothing. We came up with digital clothes, which we're completely pioneering digital clothes. This is a very new concept. It's and we came up with the Android and Apple app for
Yeah.
virtual wardrobes. And it's AI driven app, and it's got a lifelike avatar that looks just like you on
So
it.
you can put your measurements in and it looks like you in that regard.
Yes.
Amazing.
And you can put your clothes into your closet, not just the Rubaya clothes. You can actually take a photo of your shirt, your turtleneck, and it'll actually render right into your closet in a nice clean way. And then you can actually try on different combinations of your clothing right in there. And you can ask the AI for outfit combination advice. You can just try on different outfit combinations that you would like. And you can also share your closet with family and friends.
Amazing.
Yes, that was a big
So
piece of.
good.
My son gave me some of these ideas. So we came up with the initial concept, and then I actually gave the initial concept to him, and he's really into gaming, and
Yeah.
he's 15, and he was like, "Oh, this is like pretty good, mom, but like, oh, have you considered like this cool thing we see in our video games, like
Yeah.
this cool thing, like avatars and share and skins, virtual skins of clothing, and all of this?" And I was like, "This is a really good idea, Sheldon.
Yeah.
Like, this is awesome. Like, I
Yeah.
love this. Yes,
Yeah.
let's make this work." Like,
Yeah.
I believe that gaming can also kind of integrate in with this whole vision,
Yeah.
and we can introduce something to the market that the consumer can get really excited about because it is different.
Yeah.
And so that's Rubaya is just such a collaboration of minds, and inspiration not just from adults but also from teenagers, and a team of people that just came together, and just they refused to be limited by nobody else is doing it.
Mhm.
They came at it with, well, let's go figure out a way to be the first ones to do it.
Yeah.
And because of that, we hope that we're going to be introducing something
Yeah.
that people are going to really enjoy.
I what a
Mhm.
fantastic story because in all of that I just hear how you've refused to be limited by any limitation, right? You come from a small town and there'd be people listening who come from small, I'll never be anything, I'll never be able to start anything. I'm
Yes.
not from the right place and I have an IT background. Well, that doesn't mean anything. I can still, lean into my creativity. I don't have experience in this, or this has never been done before. I can still do that, right? So I just love that you can have those limitations and those doubts, but you can still rise above that and allow your inner voice to go, nope, this is not a limitation for me. It's just an opportunity or a learning. And also failure, like you say,
Mhm.
failure is, to me, I always say failure is just data, right? Failure is information. It's not something that's going to hold you back, right? I love that. I love the concept that you're working on, because my husband always talks to me too around I fight with my wardrobe. It's like some days I don't and some days I do. So I love the concept too of being able to try on different combinations and then plan out a whole week of,
Yes, you can. And so I actually have the app right here. I mean,
amazing.
by the time this comes out, it'll be out and folks
Yeah.
can go download it on the stores.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's hard to see. But this is actually one of my closets, and so you can see the clothes in there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Siri is coming up for me now. Go away, Siri. We don't. Okay.
Not time,
It's
Siri. Yeah.
yeah, wrong time. But you can kind of see the clothes are
Yeah.
all rendered in there. Now,
Yeah.
some of this is Rubaya clothes, but you can also like this jumpsuit right here is just a jumpsuit from my closet,
Yeah.
and then you can actually see the clothes. And then select the pants you want to try on, the shirt you want to try on, the belt you want to try on, whatever it might be,
Yeah.
and then it actually renders into a cloth. Like you can try it on an avatar that looks just like you. So
Amazing.
this is my avatar. It's hard to see on the screen,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you can actually see exactly what these outfit combinations are going to look like on you. And so for whatever it is that you're trying, I think in general it's we shouldn't do this, but I think it's hard for us to step away and have an objective view of ourselves when we're looking in the mirror. We
Mhm.
see a lot of things. There's a lot that goes on up here when we're looking at ourselves. It's not nice. We should be kinder to ourselves, but there is just a lot that goes on. So
Mhm.
being able to see yourself objectively, I find on the phone in the clothes, you can kind of get a better sense of the color combinations and exactly what it might look like. And the amazing thing is you can share it. So like I could share my closet with you. There's two options. You can either partially share your closets or you can fully share your closets with family and friends. So if I can't decide what I want to wear and maybe I don't want to ask the AI for outfit suggestions, I just like I really want to talk to Louisa and Louisa knows me and you know you can come up with something. I can share my closet with you. You can actually go in and say, "Oh, wear this dress or wear this skirt with this
Yeah.
shirt." And then you can actually go and save it into my try on
Yeah.
and then heart it and then you can actually come up with outfit combinations for me and we isn't that nice, right?
That's so good.
So
It reminds me of high school when you used to send pictures of yourself to your friends and say, "Which one do
yes.
you like?" And then your friends are like, sending pictures back, and it's such a great idea.
Yeah,
Such a
and you
great
can
idea.
actually schedule it for the week
Mhm.
too. So you can see here, there's just a few
Yeah,
examples in
nice.
here, but you can
Yeah.
actually schedule your outfit for the week. So that kind of helps with packing when you're traveling as well.
Yes.
Because if you schedule out your outfits, then you kind of know exactly what to pack and hopefully that can help with overpacking. Um,
Definitely. And also
but the
using like one thing in different combos, you're reducing waste because you're not buying 5 outfits. You can mix and match 3 different things into 5 different outfits, right? So great for packing because I always overpack. So that's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big part of our brand is reducing textile waste.
Mhm.
So we want to help. So we do offer the sustainable fashion brand ourselves, but we also want to help our folks across the world. We want to help them to utilize the clothing that they have. So we call it shop your closet. So we want to help people shop their closet. So if they already have 5 black shirts like they can see them come up on their app and they can kind of go through it and be like, oh, I forgot I had that shirt, right? Like how, oh, we're all guilty of it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's found the dusty recesses of our closet
Yeah.
and we kind of forgot about it, but then all of a sudden it comes up on there and you're like, oh, that would look really nice, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a great combination. I never even thought about pairing it with that blazer
Yeah. Yeah.
or whatever might come up. And then all of a sudden it gives that those pieces of clothing new life.
Yeah.
The stats are typically we wear our clothes on average 7 to 10 times before they're kind of pushed off to the side, and eventually end up donated or I think 87% of clothing eventually end up in landfills or incinerated. And so anything we can do to help kind of extend the clothing life or get more use out of it, I think is going to make a difference for textile waste. Now, also a great percentage of the clothing produced in the world right now is synthetic or uh, kind of plastic based.
Mhm.
And so microplastics are a growing concern that we're starting to learn more and more about. And what we don't realize is that polyester piece of clothing, if it does end up in the landfill, can take up to 200 years to break down.
Mm.
Yeah, and you know what? Until my husband got into all this and started sharing it with me, I really didn't. I'd never taken the time to educate myself.
Mm.
I'm still quite new to this whole thing, but every time I turn around, I'm learning a new statistic that is a bit scary, really, when you think about
Yeah.
it.
Definitely.
Um, your clothes outlive you,
Yeah.
and when they do end up in a landfill, they're it's there for a really long time. And then the other thing too is synthetic clothes don't just break down and return back to the earth and turn into dirt and feed a tree, right?
Yeah.
Like a sustainable, an organic cotton or a bamboo or anything like that, it's going to break down. It's going to return to the earth, and it's the cycle of
Mm.
life. The plastic-based clothing or synthetic clothing is going to break down into a mush, essentially. Even after 200 years, it breaks
Mhm.
into a mush, and then that mush breaks into smaller mush and into smaller mush and into smaller mush, and that those smaller mushes are microplastics. Those microplastics eventually get into our waterways,
Yeah.
into and can make their way into the oceans, into the seafood that we eat, and make their way back into our systems. And there's more and more studies being done about finding plastics everywhere. Even I think almost anywhere you can think of in your body, they're finding plastic now, and that's not great. And I don't think any of us want that inside of us. Um, and so, but we're not. We just don't know, right? And
Mm.
the other thing that I've been learning about as well is clothing sheds. So synthetic clothes, when you're rubbing it or it's wearing out or
Mhm.
whatever it is, there's those little plastic fibers are coming off in minuscule little bits, and you're actually breathing them in,
Yeah.
and they're getting into your body and into your system through that way as well, and
Yeah.
building up, right?
Yeah.
And so it's really wild when you think about it,
It's
and
so
we just
wild.
the clothing, it doesn't really benefit the clothing industry, fast fashion, the synthetic fashion, to inform the public of some of these things, and so it really is up to us to make even small incremental changes can make a huge difference. I think I'm of the mind. I kind of when I got into the sustainable space, I wasn't sure if I was going to be um, included. And the reason why is because I was so new to it. I was late to the game. I hadn't spent my whole life up to that point, you know, making good conscious choices. And so when I got into it, I was just like, oh, I hope I'm going to be invited to the club, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I realized something. Oh my gosh, like most women and men probably feel the exact same way,
They
which
do.
is like, oh, I'm not going out and buying organic or sustainable clothing because does that mean that if I get really into this, that I have to like throw away everything in my closet and I have to go buy all sustainable? I truly believe that the best thing we can do is number one, support each other so that it's not like some special club,
And not
and
shame
also
each other.
not shame each other,
Yeah.
and little changes can make a huge difference. Like if you usually buy a synthetic based dress pants for work, maybe next time you'll invest and you'll buy sustainable, And great. And no judgment if the next time you go and you're back to synthetics, right?
Yeah.
But together, if we start slowly building up our sustainable wardrobes, we are making a big difference in the
Yeah.
long run,
Yeah.
especially when you look at numbers as a whole.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because we've been in a similar journey in our household, you know, making changes to, you know, removing plastics from our home, removing like even you know, workout wear. Like I'm a runner, I love going to the gym, you know, like, you know, leggings that you wear to the gym, all of them have microplastics in them. And then you
They do.
sweat in them and then you
Yes.
absorb so much of it just through sweating in them. And
Yes.
I tell you what, you know, it has been a process for my husband and I over 4 or 5 years to slowly make changes, incremental changes to what we eat, what we prepare our food in, you know, what we wear. And we're still not perfect, but we know that we've been making those changes. But one of the big things for me has been like this decision fatigue and trying to remove the decision fatigue of, you know, where do I find, you know, clothing that is sustainable and not bad for me? You know, how do I choose what looks well? How do I make sure, you know, like all of that decision fatigue that goes into it, and people might be listening too, and it just becomes very tiring when you put a lot of pressure on yourself to change everything at once, right?
Yes.
So I think I love your message about like incremental change and just bringing those things in slowly over time, and how your app and what you're doing assist with that so that it isn't, I don't have to throw everything out and start again, but I can, every time I need something new, I can switch out something and bring in something new that's more sustainable or, you know, fits in with the lifestyle that I want to have moving forward, right?
And we need to inspire other sustainable clothing
Mhm.
brands too, because one of the biggest problems that I faced when I got into this was finding clothes I liked that were
Yeah.
sustainable. We need options. You know, Rubaya is great for the business professional or anyone looking for beautiful dress pants, blazers, things. We're starting to build capsule wardrobes, right? The real fundamental pieces that you want in your closet that you'll wear over and over again. That's our goal. That's our brand. But we need options across the board,
Mhm.
and so that when we go on the journey to try to find these clothes, that we don't get hit with, I can't find anything I like, and there's so
Mhm.
little options out there,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And make a difference where we can.
We make a difference where we can, and it makes a difference to us internally too, right? So I love that you're having this impact with, impact with environment and sustainability and so forth, but also impact like personally, like tell me about how it can impact mental health too, and how somebody who might find themselves using Rubaya and all of the system that you have, how it can help their mental health on a day-to-day basis.
I think the efficiency side of it, we don't realize that we do spend a great deal of time stressing over the what should I wear today choice. The A person makes up to 35,000 decisions a day. It's wild when you think about it, right? Every time you turn around, you're making another decision. You're making a decision to turn around.
Yeah.
um, but uh, but it's a lot, really, that we're doing. Anything that we can do to reduce any sort of anxiety that folks might have around choosing outfits for their day is going to make a difference. And the app itself is not just for any particular gender. Anyone can use the app. The app is meant to help anyone across the board that wants to have their wardrobe managed virtually. Um, I think that how many times have we stood in our closet and just be like, I don't know what to wear. I have maybe we have a birthday dinner or for those that are dating, like whatever it might be, and this goes for whoever, right? That might be standing there. They're all kind of thinking the same thing, like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what to do here. Uh, it'd be amazing if something made this choice for me. And the interesting thing about our clothing selection process is it's incredibly traditional still. You know what it reminds me of? The way that I often compare it is it reminds me of when we used to go to the library and pick out a book at the library. We used to have to go to the library, stand in the library, look at the wall of books, pick out a book and then hold it, try it on, and then you commit. And I still love doing that. I love reading. I love books. So I'm that's not saying anything about the library. I still love going there, but it's very traditional. And over time, that model has changed as technology has introduced new options. So now when Amazon came along, and then you had the option to have purchase the book online and have it shipped to your door. And then over time, they started introducing the concept of ebooks and e-downloads and Kindles and e-readers and all of that sort of thing. And and so now we're introducing the concept of digital clothing to folks. So we're also helping with mental health because, or the anxiety that anyone might experience when making a big purchase. Like, say you're spending $300 on a blazer, right? Now you can go spend $7 on a blazer. You can download that, and that's for a digital version of that blazer. Download it into your app and see it with all your other clothes. Try it on, see what it looks like on you, right on your avatar. And then when you're ready, maybe that's going to help with their anxiety. It's going to help you because when you go to execute that big sale, you already know what it looks like. You know you're committed, you want it. You're not going to purchase it and then have buyer's regret after
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because you've had a chance to get to know that. So that's just one of the areas that where we're trying to simplify and help folks to be able to make these what are sometimes stressful choices, bring a little bit more peace into their life. Organization is key. Like, having the calendar is awesome from just like a pre-planning perspective. But also when we stand in our closets, how often are we like, I just want to call my friend or my mom or whoever, right? And get their advice today. It's
Mhm.
like I know they know me, I know them. They I would love their advice for my wedding, maybe
Yeah.
the bridal shower, right? Your mom lives in LA and you're in New York
Yeah.
or wherever, right? Like Paris and
Well, my
London.
mum's in Portugal and I'm in Australia, it's
Yes.
like yeah.
Yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
so, mom, you can put her in your closet or you can share your outfit combinations, and together you have these beautiful memories that you're sharing. And even with a huge distance, you can build
Mhm.
and actually collaborate with one another. And so that's huge from a mental health and just a loneliness perspective, even
Yeah.
because we don't even realize it, but it's a little lonely standing in that closet, making those choices for those major events when we might be missing our family and friends that maybe
Mm.
can't be there for them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's going to just really hopefully bring everyone together. And
Mhm.
even if you don't have trusted family and friends, which is unfortunate, and some people are in that situation, you have an AI you can turn to, and the AI can actually help you as well. So you're never really alone in it, either through technology or through collaboration. You're always going to have options, and so if you need that second opinion because it makes you feel better,
Yeah.
um, you're gonna have it, and we're
Yeah.
really excited to be able to introduce that to people.
For sure. And I also love how you mentioned it earlier, but we are so self-critical of ourselves in the mirror, and sometimes having somebody else, you know, look at it and say, "Yep, that looks good," without you being so self-critical about how that actually looks on you, and you get a different perspective of how that looks on you. It's great. And I also love how you even in that choice, you're helping fast fashion because sometimes people spend money on fast fashion because there's no risk. I can buy this jacket for $10, and if I don't like it, I can just throw it out and it's going to lose
Exactly.
me $10, right? Where I would rather spend the money on a good jacket, but buying online, I don't want to risk spending
Yes.
$300 on a good jacket and not liking it. So you're tackling fast fashion in that way too, right? It's like I can buy this one jacket and I know that it's going to look good rather than buying the cheap jacket and I can throw it out if I don't like it. So yeah, I love it.
Yes. Yeah,
Lacey,
exactly.
I love the work that you are doing. We've run out of time and I wish I could talk to you more because I think this idea is amazing. I know that I am definitely going to be using your app. I think it's a fantastic idea. I can't wait for it to come out. By the time this episode is out, you can definitely go check it out. Where can people find it? Where can people find you?
So the clothing is going to be available on rubaya.com, and it is actually selling to Australia too. So the
Amazing. That's
Rubaya
great
brand
news.
is going to be in Australia. So the app is coming out in by the time this airs, it'll be out in Canada and the US. We're stabilizing for a little bit, and then it's actually going to be starting to branch out to the European Union, to Australia. So it won't be long.
Excellent.
But the way to find it is just going on your any the same way you would find any app on your phone is go to the Play Store, whether it's
Yep.
Android or Apple, and just search up Rubaya. And I guess I could spell that for folks. It's Rhubaia, and just search it up, and you can download it as you would any app on there. The other thing you can do is sign up and subscribe to follow along on our website. When you first log into the website, there's an option to subscribe. And through that, you'll get updates through our newsletter. We're going to be releasing all kinds of potential discounts and things like that for early adopters. So ultimately building a community of people around us, and we'd love to have all the listeners join us on that.
Fantastic. Lacey, I know this business is going to be a success for you, and I can't wait to see it blossom and grow. And I can't wait for it to come to Australia. So I'll be watching very closely and subscribing to that. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'll put all of those links in the show notes for anybody listening who wants to go and double click on that. Thank you so much for joining me today, Lacey. I really appreciate it. And
Thank
to
you.
everyone listening, thank you for joining us today on the Second Voice podcast. What I got out of today is that our decision fatigue in our wardrobe can also impact so much more in how we are interacting with our wardrobe and impacting the environment and sustainability. And just making those good choices is going to impact you day to day and help you make better decisions in your life because you're not stuck on decision fatigue all day like I do on choosing an outfit every day in my wardrobe. Thank you so much for joining us on The Second Voice. We will see you next time. Take care.